Hello.
Quickly explain what. Let me just quickly explain what technical writing feels is to me. So my own definition of technical writing is like a series of like it's a process of writing down, putting down difficult, complex technical concepts into writing. Basically, that's the whole goal of technical writing in general. You are taking complex technical processes and putting it down into writing for people to like read and understand. So that's the whole concept of technical writing. There's not so much to it again anymore. Like it's just taking the just complex processes that we carry out and then converting it to words in black and white, like we say, and giving it out for people to read and understand. So if if you see, I'm actually using the word to understand. If you are a technical writer and you do not write things that people would understand, like people your audience will understand, then I wouldn't say you're a technical writer. I mean, you're just flexing, really. You're really just flexing. You're not writing for people. So technical writers write for people to read and understand. We try to make those complex situations, those complex processes to be much more easier for anybody to understand. So forms of technical writing, like there are different forms of technical writing. I mean, some of us just believe in technical writing, you just write tutorials, I guess. Yeah, you see a lot of tutorials on dev.to, Medium, etc. And people, some of us just assume that that is where technical writing stops. But sorry to break it to you, but there are like so many other different places and different ways of technical writing. So number one is blogging, like we see. So if you notice that a lot of people have personal blogs, right? They have a lot of blogs that they just put in whatever they feel and whatever they've learned over the years, whatever experiences they have, technical experience if they've had, and whatever they feel like people could learn from. So they just put it out there on their personal blog. So that's actually a form of technical writing because these are people that are experienced in their field and they have a little space for themselves where they just put out, okay, I was able to debug this and I feel like people should be able to learn from me. So I write it down there and paste it there for anybody to just read. That's a form of technical writing. Now, white papers. Now, white papers are like the most, I think white papers are like kind of the most complex form of technical writing because it requires a lot of experience and know-how in whatever you're writing. So white papers are not something that you just say, okay, I can maybe learn on as I write. No, I would not advise anybody to write white paper. People that write white papers are experienced, people that will have PhDs, people that are trying to patent their software. So white papers are like one of the most complex form of technical writing because you are breaking down concepts, like very, very complex concepts for people to see, like something that's originally for you. You figured out by yourself and you're trying to give people to see and try to understand from your point of view. So white papers are mostly opinionated because it's just what you, from your level of experience, research, and etc. So that's where it's basically coming from. Then this is something. The next one is something that most of I think all of us here, like Frank, are used to. That's documentation. I mean, is there anybody here that haven't like heard of the word documentation? I mean, if you are a software developer, you use documentation like almost every day. So documentation is just like documenting a software basically. So you're trying to document software for people like me and you to read and be able to use your software. So that's the whole aim of documentation. Like you could write a 3-page documentation, a 10-page, 15-page, it doesn't matter. The main aim of a documentation is to teach people or direct people how to use a certain software, right? So forms of documentation could be, I mean, if, when like for example, a GitHub project now, when you push your software on GitHub, there's always a README there's always a README file that you are expected to have that contains every single thing about your project, right? So how to use this, how to install it. That's an example of a documentation. Then there are more larger documentations that we host online, like for example, Gatsby have one of the best documentations out there. From our own country, our own personal country, Paystack has a wonderful documentation documenting the process for developers and how to integrate Paystack into the application. So documentation is also one of other form of writing. Articles. So I always try to differentiate a tutorial from an article because an article could be An article could just be your opinion on a particular technology, right? So I could say, this is what I think about Gatsby.js, right? I can just write certain things I feel, what I think is going to go wrong, what I think they're doing right? So that is like an example of an article. Then tutorials is the how-to, all the how-tos, how to write JavaScript, how to do this, how to do that. So that's an example of a tutorial, right? So so these are basically the major forms of technical writing that we've been experiencing. There are like various other forms, but these are like really, really complex stuff, and it's not something that we do on a daily. These are just the ones that we are supposed to be focused on as software developers: blogging, white papers, documentation, articles, tutorials, etc. Now let's go to the next. Um, let me just jump here and I go back to this. So I'm supposed to interchange the slides, but I did not do it. But let's just go with the flow. So a technical writer's toolbox, right? So as a technical writer, you are basically trying to put certain software processes, certain processes that we carry out into writing. So one very important thing is a dictionary. A dictionary is very important. Like, I mean, you're trying to use words, so you should know the meaning of various words that you're using, how to communicate better with simpler words, and how to use very little words to explain a very, very large number of things. So a dictionary is very important. I mean, I'm not saying that you should be reading dictionary. I mean, you know the one that wrote English, just like pick certain words and try to see if you could fit it into a sentence and try to learn how to use more words. I mean, one thing that differentiate technical writers from other people, from other software developers, is the fact that they are their key, their weapon is the way they use their words, right? So you have to be up to date with the kind of words you use. I'm not saying you should use very, very complex words. I mean, if you write an article that has like words that even Cambridge University professors are finding it difficult, I don't think that makes you a technical writer. You're just writing for yourself. So the ability for you to actually utilize the dictionary very, very well is what differentiates you from other people. So another one is Grammarly. I mean, nobody's perfect, right? English is not our father's language. English is not our native language. Like, not necessarily native, but our tribal language. Let me just say tribal language. So English is not something that was originated in Nigeria. So we are also still learning. Yeah, so Grammarly helps you audit your writing. So you can write on Grammarly, or you can just copy or paste your article or your tutorial or whatever on Grammarly, and it will automatically detect your writing style, your errors, etc. So it's going to figure out those for you, and it's going to now mark all the places where you are there certain faults. You can change them, and there's also suggestions where they can give you suggestions of why you should change this, why this is an error, etc. So that is also one very important tool that I would advise you to utilize whenever you're writing. So another one is Hemingway. So Hemingway is quite complex, right? Hemingway is not something most of us have seen. So let me just quickly open it. So basically, Hemingway lets us write clearly, gives us like a summary of how readable our writing is. So it's like, it's the more complex version of, I would say it's the more complex version of Grammarly. So it's also quite quite good. So it analyzes your entire sentence structure and gives you a grade of how good whatever you're writing is. And you can also edit it, see the suggestions. It gives you very good suggestions. You can fix whatever you want to fix. So complex, replace with omit. So you can actually just switch this. So it gives you that. And so here, there are certain goals that come with using Hemingway. So it gives you a reading time, amount of like time that approximately the amount of time an average user should spend on your article. So it's 31 seconds. It gives you the amount of letters, characters, etc., paragraphs, sentences. So it basically audits your writing for you and tell you where it feels you should fix, and also gives you a grade for it. So that's also something very important. And also the good old, this is like one of the best techniques out there, another person's eyes. So, I mean, you need to give people your stuff to review for you, right? One of the most best way to pick out errors, to pick out bugs, to hear from other people is to basically hear from other people, right? So another very important thing is giving other people your writing to review, so that you can see where they what they think about your article and what they think about where you should change. So basically provide feedback. I mean, everybody needs feedback. Even when you're writing code, we have senior engineers that will sit down with us and like review our code and tell us, okay, why did you do this? Why did not follow the best practices? So there's that. That's also very important. And um so this is like a very short summary of what I feel my advice to like people that are starting technical writing in general. So the first thing is, before you start writing, create an outline and build up your story from the outlines. Like this is very, very important. Like this is um something I learned during my time at during when I started writing at Smashing Magazine. Is something like I worked directly with Rachel Andrew. So she has this tendency. So when you submit a pitch for an article, a pitch is basically an outline of everything you want to talk about, setting, just basically giving a story about your article or your tutorial or whatever you want to write. And that is what they will use to like audit whether it's something people would want to read, it's something they want to see on their platform. So I would just say that before you start writing, create an outline. It's like a map. Let's just say it's like a map. An outline is like a map that shows you, okay, from here, this is where I want to start from, this is where I want to go next. So you are not like confused. It's basically keeps you in check. You know exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it. So create an outline. So the first thing could be the introduction. The next thing could be the first subheading. The next thing could be another subheading. So if you break your article like that into those certain outlines before you start, it would help you so much. And I'm speaking directly from experience. And the second thing is, this is something very important. Do not write about something you don't understand yet. Now, here's why. If you write about something that you don't understand well, whenever you are asked a question, you would not be able to answer. And the reason why we push articles out there is because we are trying to give back, right? We're trying to share people our opinions on things and trying to teach people from our own perspective. So you're not teaching if you cannot explain whatever you've written, right? So you should definitely make very good research if you are new to a particular topic before you start writing, so that you don't be in a position where people ask you certain questions and you cannot answer. I mean, that just questions your entire credibility, that people start to reason if you actually wrote it or you copied somewhere. So please and please, whenever you're writing about any topic, please do not write about something that you do not understand. It's very, very important. Like I said, make research in quotes. I know why I put research in quotes if you are new to the topic. Why I put research in quotes is because a lot of people will say they make research, but what they do is gather up different articles and copy content from it and post on theirs. That is not research, that's plagiarism. Research is trying to read from other people's voices, trying to play with whatever you're writing about and documenting it. That is what research is. But copying from other people's content and posting it is just, you're basically replicating other people's stuff. And that's not research, that's you being a cheat. So one very, very big problem you might encounter is that a lot of technical writing platforms discourage plagiarism. So the next thing is that we're going to talk about is do not plagiarize content. Now, this is very important. Like, this is something that I would always like to preach. Even in software development, there are certain companies that would not encourage you lifting people's code and just dumping it in your code. So if you notice, I mean, I don't know if we've noticed it, but if you've looked at big organizations that are code based on GitHub, whenever they paste a certain piece of code that does not belong to them, there's always a comment with the link to that particular code base. So that does not make it, that is no longer plagiarism, because you are giving credit to whoever has written that piece of code. So that's also very important. I mean, if you are going to lift anybody's content, you want to use someone else's words, you want to use someone else's voice, you should always give feedback and credit and also provide reference. So I always try my best to tell people about the dangers of plagiarism in any way, in anything, basically, not just technical writing, even in writing code. Because if you leave there are certain companies that make court cases because you leave their code. I mean, if their license is not something like MIT where you can freely distribute their content, it becomes a problem for you when they find out and they sue you to court, because that's plagiarism. Yeah, taking away whatever they've put out there without giving them reference, or without asking for their permission. So plagiarism is a very, very big offense in technical writing, and it's something that I frown upon, and I would expect everybody here to take seriously. So do not like plagiarize people's contents. It's very, very important. Next is, if you need to use someone else's words, always give credit and reference. Very important. I mean, you need to tell people that, okay, I mean, I'm using your words, right? I'm using whatever you've written, and I appreciate you for putting it out there, and I'm giving you credit for that. People feel very, very happy. If you check my articles, every single thing I've written, there's always a section at the bottom called references and resources. Now, I always put that there because these are certain places that I read. These are certain places I read, and I decide to test out my own thesis or my own theory from whatever that person has written and provide my own feedback. So I always put those people's words. I always give them their proper credit. It's very important. I mean, nobody likes it when someone takes credit for their work, right? So you wouldn't like it, so you shouldn't do it to someone else. So there's that. Then now, this is very important. I know the next task for people is technical writing, but this is something I would advise anybody. Do not be pressured to start writing. I mean, I know that there's always there's this hype currently on Twitter about technical writing, and I see a lot of people going into technical writing without having a reason for going to technical writing, because their friend is writing articles, or they hear that technical writers are making money or something like that. I mean, it's not bad to make money, but then when you are pressured into doing something you do not have a zeal for, no want to do, then you just, I mean, there's a whole lot of, I mean, we used to watch shit content on there's a lot of shit content on the internet. I mean, we are trying our best to reduce and purge the internet of such content. So if you, as a person, that you are not trying to invest your time, or you're not interested in the art of technical writing, like producing content, you're just worsening the whole situation for everybody, both for newbies. I mean, if you are writing, you should consider new people coming into the tech space, or into whatever space you are writing in. I mean, one thing I also need to put out there is that technical writing is not restricted to just tech. There are mechanical engineers that are doing technical writing. There are electrical engineers, there are physicists, there are a lot of people doing technical writing. As long as you are trying to put technical concepts and processes into words, that's what is basically that's what basically is technical writing. So please do not be pressured to start writing. Just focus on getting better at whatever you're doing, and whenever you feel like you want to share genuinely, with people, then you should do that. Now, one of the best ways to get better as a software developer, I mean, I'm assuming most of us here as software developers, is to teach people what you know. Very important. I try my best to teach people what I know. I speak at events. The reason why I speak at events is not because of paparazzi. It's not because of I want to be hyped around. It's because I believe that whatever I'm teaching would help the next person, right? There are a lot of people that have reached out to me that this is my certain talk, help them fix certain bug, help them understand something. I've gotten very, very good reviews on my articles, and that's literally why I'm doing this. I mean, I'm trying to make people be better developers. I'm also trying to make myself be a better developer, because as I write about certain things, I question what I know, right? I question what I know, because if I write, so I can have a particular, for example, now in software development, there are different ways to solve a particular problem, right? There are different ways to write a function that does Fibonacci, right? A different ways to write a function that does Fibonacci, right? So now, if I put down my process of how I feel like we should solve a Fibonacci series. Now, I will be like, wait, so this is actually in writing. I can physically see what is in my head. From this particular process, I can be able to say, oh, why am I doing this instead of this? Why am I not following best practices? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? So I'll tend to open up new slides, open up new tabs, and learn about why I'm using this, why are we using this over this. So technical writing is also a way of learning, because when you write down things that you feel like people should do, you pick certain errors about your thinking in general because you are researching. So one of the best ways to get better as a software developer is to teach people what you know. Very, very important. Now, the next is platforms you can practice writing on. So Medium. So people have very, very conflicted feelings about Medium because of their whole paywall thing. But I still feel like Medium is one of the most read platforms, for one of the best platforms for writing. Even though, I mean, you can always remove your story from the paywall, so it's not like it's affecting anybody. Companies that want to put their story on the paywall, or people that want to put their story on the paywall because they want to collect money from it, and I don't see anything wrong in trying to make money from your content. So there's that. So Medium is also very good because they have a large number of people reading Medium, even though a lot of us act like we don't read Medium, but there are a very, very good number of people that actually still read Medium. A lot of people. So another platform is Dev.to. So this is like one of the hottest kid in the block. I mean, there are a lot of people that are pushing content on Dev.to. They are getting bigger. It's a very, very big community, and it's very, very easy to start writing there. Just create an account and you're good to go. So Dev.to is very, very good, and they do this really. The main Dev.to administrators, they do this cool thing where they post people articles on their platform, on their Twitter handle for more reach. I mean, we cannot scroll to the entire Dev.to to see certain articles. So when they tweet these things, their followers get to see it. So if your article is good enough in their opinion and they help you tweet it, that's more visibility for you, and that's you reaching more people. So Hashnode is very, very cool. I myself have not started writing of Hashnode, but I've been seeing a lot of cool features they've been releasing out there, and I just feel like they are going to be the next like big thing in the whole writing space. I mean, their DevRel team is doing a very, very good job with publicizing their content, their platform. So Hashnode has really, really cool things. I mean, I heard that you can even add a custom domain on Hashnode. How cool is that? You can add a custom domain, you can see SEO stuff, like really cool stuff. Another platform you can practice your writing on is Hacker News. So Hacker News is, I would say Hacker News is more of an, so you have to be like, have a certain level of experience with writing before they can actually publish your stuff on Hacker News. I mean, the publication process is like you have to submit to them and they check it and they like it, they publish it on Hacker News. So it's kind of opinionated and it's not something that people that are not so experienced in writing would have locked in. So another very important platform you can write on is the Free Code Camp blog. So the Free Code Camp has a lot of users. I mean, a lot of us are benefits of the Free Code Camp program and the whole platform. So they have a very, very cool blog that you can actually write on and get feedback, and also get to work with one of the best editors, because they have a very, very good editing team that would help you work on your platform, or your article, sorry, or your tutorial, or whatever you want to write on there. So there's that. So far, these are like the top writing platforms that I would want every one of us to get acquainted with. The next is something, I mean, this is something most people are interested in. I mean, Nigerians like money. Let's not whine ourselves. Nigerians like money. So paid technical writing programs. Smashing Magazine has a very, very good technical writing program where they give you a certain amount of money, around $250, I think, $250 to $300, depending on your experience. So there's that. Smashing Magazine gives you that. So you can actually earn from writing. Also, for Smashing Magazine, you also have the opportunity to work with one of the best editors out there, one of the best people in editing, the whole editing system. So there's that. So there's that. And personally, I would say I'm working with the head editor there is Rachel Andrews. She's one of the best writers, one of the best editors that I've worked with personally. And the next is Log Rocket. Log Rocket is also a very, very nice platform to write and get paid on. They pay about $350, yeah, per article. And they have this very cool, they have this very cool process where you can write whatever you feel like. So there's mostly front end development, mostly on front end development, right? So you can write on their platform mostly on front end development. But Smashing Magazine has no limits. I mean, you can write back end stuff on Smashing Magazine. You can write front end stuff. You can write design stuff on Smashing Magazine. So there's no limits. But Log Rocket is mostly catered for front end developers that want to share their knowledge. So, but I think so. Like this is something that they're about to start new. They are currently having certain backend articles like Rust. So they are like shipping out a lot of Rust content. They're looking for a lot of people that want to write about Rust. So, I mean, if you are good with Rust, you can always reach out to Log Rockets team. So you can go to their website and you click on the blog and you can click on the Write for Us. I'm supposed to put a direct link to this. I don't even know why I did not do it. But the next thing I'm going to show is going to take you directly. DigitalOcean also provide a platform for people to write on their blog, but mostly what you'll be expecting you to do something with DigitalOcean, right? PHP, DigitalOcean, maybe React. I mean, React is popular now. Vue. So it's kind of depending on what the coordinators want. And Auth0 is mainly on just basically on identity, authorization, front end too, but they have certain pricing range, right? Log Rocket pays about 350, Digital pays about 350 to 400. Auth0 pay about 200, and whenever you write something that has to do with Auth0, I think they pay around 250 or 300 for that. I'm not so sure. Yeah, so they pay. So this I like these programs because they know how much stress people go through whenever they're trying to write a particular article and they're trying to reward you for your pay. So there's no excuse for you to produce very, very bad content or misguiding content. So, I mean, if you are being paid for your work, you should do it with all honesty and integrity. So they are like, so there's a whole GitHub repo of these paid community technical writing programs. So if you go here, so my friend Daniel has a list of all the technical writing programs that are out there. So you can always check here. And if you want to write technical, non-technical writing, you want to do non-technical writing, you can always go to Who Pays Writers here to see if you can write on maybe your opinion on certain books, etc. So Auth0, CircleCI. So this is like, and there's also a direct link to all these writing programs. So there's that. And also important links I want to show it to people. I would appreciate it. Like, this is just me trying to reach out to you people. If everybody here can take the Google Technical Writing course before you start writing. I mean, it's very, very short. You can always get started with it as fast as possible. It's a very, very short course. So pre-class takes, so let's just say in total you spend about 5 hours on this course, both the first and the second. So it's something I would encourage everybody here to try and to learn, because they teach you, I mean, these are from the best engineers and technical writers out there. This content is directly from Google, so you should be expecting very, very good content and quality information. So there's that. You can always do that. Please, before you start writing, I would advise you take this course so that you can get yourself acquainted with the technical writing steps out there. So write the docs. So Write the Docs is a community of writers, of technical writers, documentation writers, basically, that care about documentation. So they have very, very different, they have different different type of technical writers, technical editors, software engineers that come together, developer relations experts, evangelists, etc. That come together to talk about how well we can share their knowledge on writing documentation. So they also have a list of learning resources from their newsletter, videos, podcasts. Also, they have the style guide for writing documentation. A lot of people find it difficult to start writing documentation. So they have a style guide for you. They also have guide to getting hired and getting hiring basically in technical writing. They also have book clubs. And so this is one community that I would advise anybody that wants to take technical writing very serious to join. They're like very, very cool people. Um, Also, there's also the Slack group. So why is the doc Slack? So you can always join your Slack group. Like it's open to everybody. There are different channels here, job posts. Also, you can find jobs here. They have their conferences. They have people giving career advice, documentation tools, documenting APIs. There are so many different channels that you can actually learn from. So this is something I would advise anybody. There's also accessibility. So this is something I would advise anybody that wants to take technical writing seriously to focus on. So that's basically it for me. Um, I'm so like excited about. I was so excited about giving this. I'm meeting everybody here. So thank you for listening to my talk. If you have any question, you can ask right away. I mean, if you want to, if you have questions aside there, you can always reach out to me on Twitter. My DMs are open. Um, Also, yeah, that's basically it. If you want to learn more about technical writing, I have a technical. Let me do free publicity for myself. I have a technical writing course coming up, and well, I'm also donating. If people encourage the whole idea of being a paid course, I'm donating some or most of the whole revenue from the writing to Dev Careers. So that's kind of something I'm excited about. So yeah, that's basically it for me. Please, if you have any question, please reach out.
Oh my God. Wow. I'm taking the course actually, though. I'm taking that Google Technical Writing course, and I'm waiting for your own too. All right. Wow, that was awesome, man. It was. I bet it was not that kind of structured jamboree we get on all the kind of when you go for those events now.
Yeah, I don't do that kind of thing again.
So I really enjoyed the flow. It was something that came from what you do, like
Yeah,
how you work
yeah,
and things you do.
yeah,
So I really
yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you very much for coming. I think I open the ground with questions. So guys, if you want to ask a question, please just raise up your hand. You can raise up your hand with, I think, with the button or something. Just find a way of raising up your hand on Slack. There's a way you can do that, or you just put it in chat or unmute your mic. So first question is actually it's not necessarily writing. So in a month, I'll talk about the paid because that is where go when coco. So how much? How much?
How
Like
much
say
for what?
Oga, like nothing happen. Market no go very well. Just normal standard market. How much can a technical writer earn?
I mean, if you can in a month, I mean, depending on your time, if you can write for, you write 2 or 3 articles in a month on the average, you'll be able to rack in about $600 to $700. So I mean, that's kind of a very, very good amount for something that you're doing on the side. So yeah.
That's really good, really good. So that's my question. Questions may come up. Does anybody have any other question? Just let me know. I think Ernest wanted to ask a question. Where's Ernest? Okay, Ernest, now you can ask your question. I think I've unmuted you here.
Okay, fine. I cannot drop it on the chat box already, but it's quite simple and straightforward. Do you know any platform that accept machine learning content and they pay as much as what you've mentioned?
Yeah. I mean, LogRocket, if you can do stuff with machine learning with front end, LogRocket takes machine learning. Also, Smashing Magazine too. I mean, if you can do anything with, I know someone that's done something with facial recognition and still use maybe a React on the front end. So, I mean, if you know how you can couple both the front end and the back end with machine learning stuff, you should be able to do all this content, community resources that I've shared, LogRocket, Smashing Magazine, most of them, they would definitely accept it. And I know LogRocket is open to a lot of like very good content. So if you can pitch to LogRocket as to why you want to have a machine learning content on their blog, they will definitely take it in if it makes quite sense to them.
Oh wow, that's nice. Any other question? Just let me know. Put it in chat. Okay. All right. Okay. Ojo has a question. Okay. I've unmuted you, Ojo, now you can talk. Commit yourself.
Okay. Ashadra, thank you very much for your great course. Like I learned a lot. I've learned a lot. So my question goes thus: what can we reach out to you to help with reviews for content we write? Like
yeah, sure. I'm always open to helping people check out their content. So you can always DM me. Like I said, my DM is always open, and when I can look at it, I'm going to look at it and give you feedback.
Okay. Do you have specific times where you respond so that we don't bug you at odd hours or times you feel I'm busy now?
So I'm technically always available. I don't know. I would just say send me a message whenever you feel like you want to send it, and I will definitely reply when I can.
Or should we drag him into our Slack? Guys, what do you think? I've unmuted everybody. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, he wants to.
Very important.
Yes, on behalf of Dev Careers Squad 2, hereby extend our hand of invitation to our Slack.
Yeah, sure. I'll send you my email, then you can add me up on Slack. I think that would be better.
Yeah, that would be better. So guys, you've added one person. Are you happy now? So, any other question?
Am I getting a laptop too?
Huh?
Am I getting a laptop too?
I know you hear that question. I know who's the question, sir. I know you the question. I know see it.
Don't mind me. Yeah.
Joshua, do you have a question?
Yeah, I think Ali has a question. Or Joshua.
Okay, yeah. Everybody, your mic is unmuted now. Actually, you can just unmute yourself.
So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
you can.
So the question, Shadrach, what's it called? Were you into writing before you started developing or started developing or?
No. So
No.
yeah, so basically how I got into writing is the first thing I wrote about was my story. Basically, how I started software development. That was kind of the first major thing I wrote about. So it was not something that. Yeah, it's not something that I always knew I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to share, give back to the community that helps me. So my way of giving back was to basically speak at conferences and write more about what I knew. So that's kind of how I got into writing. It's not something I've always been doing before development.
Okay, and for how long have you been coding? That's the second question. Like, when did you start coding?
Yeah, so it's actually funny. I started coding professionally, seriously in 2016. I mean, I'm still a very, very small boy in this whole tech thing, but with a push.
I don't think bullion people will agree.
Yeah, so let me look for. You can go on my Medium page and just check my. Let me just share my blog for you.
Okay.
XYZ, and you can see. Oh, sorry. XYZ. Yeah, and you can see most of my old content. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ali, do you have a question? Ali.
Yeah, can I ask the question now?
Please, you can go ahead.
Okay, please, I wanted to ask. So, after you publish the article, do they need a certain amount of traffic before paying you, or they'll pay you instantly after you publishing? That's what I wanted to ask.
Yes. So for Smashing Magazine pays you immediately. Your article has been pushed to production, so it doesn't matter when they release it. That's not your business. Your business is you've written it and they've approved it, so they pay you immediately. For Log Record pays you after they've published, and it's usually on a Friday. So after they publish, they pay you immediately. And for Odd Zero pays you also after they've published. So it doesn't matter whether there's any traffic. It's not your business. You've done your part and you've gone. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, okay. It's a follow-up question. So, we need to negate that from now. What's the means of the payment? So it's a very, the question is not, it's just, hello,
Say it.
hello?
We can
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
can hear you.
So what's the procedure of the payments? Do you send your account number? Do you
You for money, sir.
want to start
Yeah, yeah.
seeing, we gingered in
Yes.
our team to write the article from the beginning?
Yeah, so basically, you just send in an invoice. For Smashing Magazine, there's an invoice template that you send with your account number and etc. For Log Rockets, there is also for Log Rockets, there's a platform where you can input your account number, whatever. You don't really need to send an invoice and they would pay you. For Odzero, there's also a platform where Odzero you send an invoice to the coordinators and they would answer you when it's time.
Who's that? Who's sounding that happy?
Hey, I have a question.
I have a question.
Okay, I mean, wait, yeah, one by one. Let's take 3 more questions and let's go.
Why?
Let's do 5. If you can do 5.
A very long time. I need to ask
Joshua,
my-
you answer your question. Ask your question.
Okay. So now, the question is now. I know that on Medium you can actually create an account, then start immediately, Dev to and the likes. But on the likes of Smashing Magazine,
Why?
Don't worry, continue. Sorry.
okay, so like what are the criteria if you sign up with them? What are the other things that they need to look into? Do they need to like maybe check your GitHub repo to know if you are qualified to write an article?
So honestly, I would not say I know exactly what, but off the top of my head, they would want to check you having experience with writing. So you don't just allow anybody come on their platform and you don't allow beginners basically. I would not say beginners, I would not say people writing for the first time to come on their platform. So you have to have published, I think it's something I should have stated. You have to have published certain amount of articles, like maybe 2, 3, 4 articles, so that they know that okay, this is somebody that has been writing before coming on the platform. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Another question is now I've written like 2 or 3 articles on Medium, but the highest likes I've gotten is like 200. And
so,
it's like from 4 people, like 50 likes.
Wow, for 50 class per person. They try.
So now the thing is, how do you like reach out to more audience to get like more likes, more views, and the like?
So I would not say likes don't matter. Likes don't matter. I mean, as long as you are putting out your article there, likes don't matter. I mean, I read articles and I don't clap. It might be helpful to me, but I just don't have time to clap. I just want to read your article and go. That's my own. So so in developer advocacy, where we where we put these certain things into consideration, for an article, a like is not a metric for success. So a metric for success is how much people has impacted. So I mean, are you trying to say that if you write an article and you don't get any like, it means that I didn't help anybody? It's not factual. So a metric for success for an article would be somebody like seeing your article and using it. It doesn't matter if you know or not, but as long as your content is out there, that's enough for everybody.
Yeah, I get. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
Can I ask?
Arjuna.
Should I go ahead?
Money again.
No,
sure.
I like follow-up questions and I like questions too. So
you like money too.
So you talked about having 1 or 2 or 3 articles before you could start writing in those paid platforms. What if your articles are beginner related, targeted at beginners, or probably targeted at not senior, not complex technical terms, but maybe simple stuffs? Would you still accept articles like that?
Yeah, sure.
Or
I mean,
write something with higher other components, technical stuff, and the like.
No, you can basically, the first article I wrote on Smashing Magazine was getting started with React hooks. I mean, this is a beginner-friendly stuff, right? It's for beginners, targeted at beginners. So it doesn't matter the audience. It's as long as it's readable, as long as it makes sense to the organizers, then to the coordinators and etc. Then I don't see if you having any issue with it. you can write beginner's article. I mean, there's a time I wrote the first article I wrote for Log Rockets was just basically a blog post on Snowpack. Snowpack is a JavaScript bundler on their new release. So they released a new version, and that's what I wrote about. It's not a tutorial. It's just telling people. It's just an announcement that Snowpack is out. Look at the features that comes with it. Nothing, and I got paid. So it doesn't really matter whether you write. As long as it is very, very like it's from your own experience. It's what you want to share with people, and it makes sense. Then it's and also credible. I mean, credibility is very important. It's also credible. So you are good.
Nice.
Okay. So if I may
Two more questions.
One last question from me. The
Mhm.
question is, how do you handle criticism? Maybe if you just write an article now and people start criticizing it. So personally, how do you handle that?
So personally, I cannot keep myself. I have written. I cannot keep myself. The only thing I would do is I would specifically take feedback and work on it. Taking feedback is what makes you one of the reasons why a lot of people are sacked in where they work. It's not because they're not good engineers, it's because they don't know how to handle feedback. So one thing I always do is I listen to people's criticism. Okay, this is what you don't like about it. If it makes sense to make it something that I see as an issue, I work on it. Other than that, I can't keep myself. People will criticize, but then you should take it as a learning phase. But there are some criticism. There's a criticism that is just basically driven at just making you feel bad about yourself. So just ignore it. Nobody's an island. Everybody's learning, and it's fine. Everybody's learning, and it's fine. So a lot of people, even a lot of media outlets, you see CNN making wrong headlines. People criticize them. What they do, they go back and they fix it. You cannot kill yourself, please. This life is one.
Thank you.
Do you have a question? The last question, Sha.
Do you have anybody you try to pattern your article to? Like people you meant, like you look at their article and be like, okay, I want my article to be patterned this way. And
yeah.
So that
So I don't say, I wouldn't say pattern my article to. I just say people I see and I feel motivated, people I derive inspiration from. So I mean, that like number one is Rachel Andrew. She's the senior editor at Smashing Magazine. She writes beautifully and she gives quality feedback. So I always try to say, in this situation, what would Rachel write? What would Rachel say? Because of my experience with her. So Rachel is very, very one of some people I look up to. Chris Coyer for CSS Tricks. I like reading his articles. I wish I can write as much as him. But I mean, I will get there eventually. So Chris Coyer is somebody I look up to. I like how he writes. I like the tone he keeps when he writes. So it's somebody I always try to read this article and try to, let's say, learn from. I wouldn't say pattern. I would just say just learn from. There's also in Nigeria here, Prosper writes beautifully. So Prosper writes. I always try to read Prosper articles. Whenever Prosper writes, it's always blowing up because he's a very, very good writer. Prosper knows how to tell a story that makes everybody feel comfortable. One other person is, if you know Jola Adebayo. Jola is on Twitter. He's a very, very good writer. He writes at Log Rockets, writes very, very well and clear for people to read and understand. So these are people that I actually just derive inspiration from to want to write more.
Okay, so I see you guys have a lot of questions. So what will happen is
so there's a specific question I want to answer. How do you keep up with consistency? Okay. What can you
Alright.
stay motivated with? What can make you stay motivated? So see, I'm a lazy person. People don't know this, but I'm a lazy person. You might see all the things where they do online. You see all the things I do online, but see, most of them is just because I'm bored. It's not because I want to do it. If I can work, if I can have money without working, I would do it. I'm not those hardworking type. I'm not hardworking. I just try to get stuff done when it's necessary. I just get stuff done. So how I keep up consistency is whenever I feel like somebody wants to. So basically, the thing for me is in my head, I'm like, somebody will learn from this, and I write from it. There's an article I'm supposed to have written since like 2 months ago, and I've just been looking at my blank sheet. there's no motivation, nothing to do. But it's now necessary for me to write it. I have no choice because somebody has reached out to me that why have you not written this? So I need to write about it. So for me, it's just, for me personally, my motivation is just coming from wanting to do stuff or getting bored. How I stay motivated is I just ask myself like, Sheda, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Again, when I think about where my level, where I want to be in coming years, I'm like, this is enough motivation for me. And also money. Money is like motivation for everybody. I mean, I know that I can get paid for writing articles. Why don't I write articles? There's nothing bad in having more money, right? So money is also very, very important. I mean, there's no all this thing where they will say is for the community and the rest. That one is there, but you cannot fund it. You need to fund yourself. You need to give yourself energy to serve the community. You understand? That's very, very important. So that's how everything for me. So there's one more question. Is there any specific tense used in writing articles, like past tense, present tense? Yeah. That's why I said you should take the Google Technical Writing course, because it teaches you all these things, how to use this tenses very, very well and effectively. So it's also very, very important. But another thing I would say is, one other tip is, whenever you're writing an article, do not use the words like obviously. I mean, if it's that obvious, nobody will be reading your article, right? So stay away from obviously. It's an annoying thing, because me, I get annoyed with reading from obviously, or looking at, or saying this is simple, right? Or just say simple, right? So just remove those words, simple, obviously, because I mean, your article. Yeah, so your article does not really have a meaning if people can figure it out, right? So why are you then writing? Who sent you? You get, but you feel like because you found it difficult to start with or to get started in, you decided to write an article. So saying obviously means that me that did not get it, like I didn't figure it out immediately, then I'm dumb. And that's you insulting your audience. So there's certain things that you need to be specific with. You need to just empathize with people that you write for. That's just it. I think that's most of it.
Thank you.
Wow. Emeka, do you want to take Emeka's question when you come to Slack? Which of the two? What do you do now? I don't want to take out of your time.
What platform can a Flutter developer submit to? Honestly, I don't know. I don't have experience with Flutter. I've not seen like Flutter guy. Flutter is relatively a new technology, so I don't really know if there are certain platforms that cater to needs of Flutter developers. But you can always Google stuff and find out for yourself.
Please, can we get the recording to this video? And
I know, have I ever not dropped the recording?
Oh, yeah, so there's a recording. Yeah. So there's a question here that I feel like I should answer. Last question. I don't know. I'm just having so much fun answering questions, and I'm excited to be here. So let's just answer the. Let me just answer the question. I saw something where somewhere that says no matter what topic you issue, right? No matter what kind of people you have written, so still go ahead. Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of getting started with React articles. You see a lot of getting started with X language articles. If you Google React, getting started with React, you see tons of articles. So, but the difference between your article and other people's article is that it's from your point of view, how you see that particular thing. So it doesn't matter whether you feel like somebody else has written it. Nobody else can write exactly what you've written. If somebody writes exactly what you've written, that's plagiarism. One of you, either of the parties, have plagiarized themselves. So nobody can speak like you. Nobody can think like you. So just go ahead and write it. If you get feedback, yes. If you get criticism, go back and work on yourself. That's just how life is. Life is not hard, really.
Wow. So, Kayet, write. Keep writing. All right. Precious, do you want to say something? At least say something. I'm my co-host on this matter. Gabby, you're not saying anything.
I was having a bad network.
All right, so Precious got into season of docs, Google season of docs. So he's one of the silent people that we have here that are going to become so good technical writers very soon. And maybe maybe we're saying maybe $1,000 per month on technical writing, right? Gabi, please you donate to Dev Careers back. All right, guys. So I had fun today. I'm sure you also had fun. So there's a recording of this session.
Yeah.
Which I would post on Slack, and hopefully by Monday, a schedule will be on Slack, and you guys can. And yeah, we are going to have tax. So you're going to have tax around at the technical writing. So, but one of the first tax is going to be taking that course. I feel that everybody should take that course. Even myself, I should take the course too. Yeah. So guys, I appreciate Shady. Thank you very much for making time. Even though we kept on saying come this week, come next week.
Yeah.
I think it was worth the wait. I really think it was worth it. I really enjoyed this session. So thank you very much for coming. Precious, thank you for organizing this stuff and being a very wonderful assistant. And for every other person here, you guys, this is week 5, man. The week has been awesome. As in, you guys are doing. I won't lie to you personally. I know there are some guys from the old cohort here, but seriously, you guys are like the best we've had. You guys, the energy is everywhere. Energy poor. It's plenty. So on that note, I will say see you guys when we see maybe for another technical course workshop. All right, guys. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.